All right, Deer Slayer. Got two kinds of jerky for you to try. What's up, guys? It's Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and I'm gonna do a little jerky making today because it's supposed to be a stormy, rainy day and evening and tomorrow, and so not a lot of farm projects going on today. But I figured what better time than to thaw out some of last year's deer meat, some fresh venison out of the freezer, and make some jerky. I'm gonna do a couple different things today. I've got a couple different processes, nothing fancy. We're gonna be preparing our jerky, making it on the Traeger pellet grill. Put the thing down to like 180 degrees, low and slow. I've made jerky on this thing a few times and I really like it. But let me show you what all I've got, what we're gonna do, get this stuff marinating, and then in a couple hours, we'll get it started on the grill. So first and foremost, all of this meat was harvested locally. Not quite right here in our backyard, but not too far away. This is deer from the buck that Houston shot. I say last year, it was actually in January of this year. This is Limpy Gimpy. We're gonna make some Limpy Gimpy jerky and some deer sticks. Now we're not gonna be putting these in casings or anything like that. It's gonna be straight through a jerky gun, and I've had this for several years. It works amazing. No need for casings. You can make flat strips or you can make round sticks. I'm not going to get too fancy with my seasoning. We're going to do some backwoods jerky seasoning. I've got one original and one cracked pepper. And like I said, this is all from our own property. Limpy Gimpy was a deer that Houston hunted for several years. If you missed that, if you're new to the channel, you need to go back and check out those videos. We probably did 5 or 6 dedicated hunting videos last season to Limpy Gimpy, and Houston was able to harvest him with his crossbow. And it was just an unbelievable end to a really awesome deer season. And today we're reaping the rewards, the benefits of our work. So let's get this stuff going and marinating. It's nothing fancy, nothing technical. Everybody's got their own recipes for jerky. Everybody's got, you know, grandpa's old recipe that they pull out of a drawer. This stuff, I just get it at, at like Orscheln's or Tractor Supply, Bass Pro, Cabela's, all those kind of places sell this stuff. It's just a backwoods jerky blend. It comes with the cure, but this stuff's not gonna last long. Usually we make jerky around our house, it's gone within a few days, but it does come with the cure, so it will last. It'll hold up, have a long shelf life. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with our ground, our hamburger meat. We're going to do that first with the original seasoning. And guys, there's really nothing to this. You take all of your ground meat, add your dry mixture to it, and some water. You add a little water to it just so it needs a little moisture. This deer meat's very lean as it is. There's very little fat in deer. I didn't have the processor add any fat to this round of ground because I knew I was going to be making these sticks out of it. But it needs a little water. So I think that recipe on the bag there calls for 5 ounces of water to be added to your mixture. So I hear a little thunder. The storms are about to move in. So inside the packet, we've got our dry seasoning and the cure. So you could mix this in a bowl, mix it up first with water, the powder itself. But I'm going to add the seasoning and the cure and kind of blend it in by hand, and then we'll add a little water on top. It's kind of like a meatloaf right now. The hamburger meat's not quite completely thawed out. There's still some ice chunks in the middle, but this is going to set for a few hours. I'm not marinating it overnight. I talked to a guy, has a little jerky company called Grandpa's Jerky or Papa's Jerky. They came out and visited and stayed at Dusty's at Cross Timbers Bison at his cabins for a while. Anyways, they make and sell jerky all over the world, and he told me none of his jerky's marinated for more than about 2 hours. So I don't know. The other thing with adding water to this is it makes it go through the jerky gun a lot smoother. If it's too thick, it's just the consistency doesn't want to go through that jerky gun. So let's add a little water to this. We're going to get real technical and measure it, as you can see. About 5 ounces of water just to help it get nice and moist. And that water actually helps that marinade, soak into the meat and absorbs it a lot better. So, all right, next is our jerky strips, and we're going to be using the cracked pepper blend. I'll probably add a little bit more black pepper on top when we get it on our wraps, but this is basically just probably hind quarter, like a loin. Had the processor do this deer for us, so cut the strips up into like a 1/4-inch strips. You could definitely use a roast. You could use a beef roast for this, as a matter of fact, and get it when it's about, I don't want to say half frozen, but nice and stiff. Take a good slightly thawed roast, and you can slice it by hand if you choose to, but gotta get the paper off. But that's good organic fresh deer meat right there. Make sure it's all thawed out and comes apart. I mean, isn't that just amazing? Look at that. I need to get a slicer and do this myself. But when Houston shot this buck, it was about 70 degrees outside, and I don't have anywhere to hang one and keep it cool, so we just took him straight to the processor because I don't like to let the meat go bad. And when it's 75 degrees in southern Oklahoma, you've got flies and mosquitoes and bugs, and it's just, meat gets nasty quick. You guys got to stay out of the kitchen, okay? You can't have any jerky right now. Maybe after it's done, okay? Now for the strips, I am going to do a little bit more of a marinade. So I've got 2.5 cups of hot water, and then we're going to mix in the entire packet of seasoning and the cure, and then just pour it over all of our meat and let it do its magic for a couple hours. There's my cure packet. There it is. Just want to make sure everything gets in good contact with all that marinade. It wouldn't be a bad idea if this was smaller strips to put it in a Ziploc baggie or something, but make sure you get all the meat coated. Obviously, it's marinade. It's all got to be in contact with the marinade. It already smells amazing, though. That stuff smells delicious. All right, so since it's a nice cool day, it's like low 50s, I'm just going to go ahead and set these directly on the grill and close the lid and let them marinate out here. Instead of taking them in and putting them in the refrigerator, it takes up a lot of space. They'll marinate just out here just fine. But I am going to close the lid because once upon a time, not too long ago, Houston and I went trout fishing, caught a bunch of trout, came home, and I was going to make a smoked trout dip. So with trout, you brine them overnight, and then you got to let them air dry. Well, I set all the racks up, open the lid, set all the racks up on the smoker, set the fish in there, came back about 2 hours later, and Bella, our chocolate lab that we just recently lost, had the biggest belly you've ever seen. And I had no trout left because she got out and walked across the countertop of our outdoor kitchen and ate all the fish. The grill wasn't on, it wasn't hot, the lid was just open. So I'm gonna let those marinate with the lid shut. And I hear some rolls of thunder and a few sprinkles on the patio. So it looks like the weather guessers might get it right today, and hopefully all of our pastures that we've been working on reseeding will get a good dose of rain and the grass will start growing back. So I'm going to start with our jerky strips, and I'm going to lay it all out. I bought these trays on Amazon. They're just like cooling racks for baking, baking cookies and things, but they've got much smaller holes in them than what my grill grate has, those racks. So we're going to do them straight on this, and I've got another one that's a little bit different, but we're gonna start with the strips because they'll probably take a little longer than what goes to the ground meat that goes through the jerky gun. Now for the ground meat, our jerky gun, if you've ever used a caulking gun, like a silicone caulk gun, same concept. We're gonna load the hopper here, load our tube with our ground jerky meat, our venison, and we'll fill this up and then just squeeze it all out on the trays, just like you would a tube of caulk. I've even got a little plunger, just like if you had a, like with a meat grinder, so we can kind of push our ground hamburger meat down in there and compact it. Just like that. Pretty simple. Alrighty, we should be good to go. Got all those trays filled up. I've got a little bit more of the ground meat left and quite a bit more of the strips left, so it takes a few batches, but we're kind of just doing this as a demo for you guys, or I'd have done all one of, you know, just the strips or just the ground. But I will say this, you know those little circular dehydrators, those things to do jerky like this may take 8, 10, 12 hours. You know, I'd put this on before I went to bed. And then I stepped up to not a commercial dehydrator, but a nicer model dehydrator. And that one will do it in 3 or 4 hours, something like that. But with this pellet grill, it takes it down to about a 2-hour process, 2 to 3 hour process. So not too bad. So we'll see you guys in a couple hours. All right, well, it's been a few hours. I came out and turned these over a little earlier and kind of rotated them around the grill a little bit, but I think our sticks here are completely done. Some of our jerky, well, I say sticks, ground strips, whatever you want to call them, but our actual jerky strips are going to need a little bit longer, not much. I did flip them over, but look at that. They're starting to look really good. I've already taken a few off. I had another tray. I had the trays turned the other way. This end cooks a little bit faster than this end, so we'll let the rest of those go. And since it's getting dark outside, I wanted to go ahead and bring these in, but I'm telling you, this right here doesn't last long around my house. These, oh, look, might as well taste test that little piece, right? Straight venison, harvested from our property. Cooked on the Traeger. It was a little longer than I expected, really. It's about 3 hours. But, so much better than a dehydrator. I'm gonna get another batch started, wait on the rest of those jerky strips to finish up, and keep the cycle going until we get it all done. Oh yeah. I think we're done on this batch of jerky. Ooh, that tray is warm. Ooh. I mean, Come on now. Look at that. It's too good. Actually might be too long for my Ziploc baggie. I have to break some of those in half. Well, guys, it's the next day, and I got all of the jerky processed. Got about 2 gallons worth. A gallon Ziploc baggie of each. So there's your traditional jerky strips and the ground hamburger meat ran through the jerky gun. If you've never used a jerky gun, I would encourage you to try it, because there's only so much of this type of jerky that you can get off of a deer, but there's a lot of ground hamburger meat, and my family probably prefers the traditional jerky strips more than the ground, jerky gun stuff. I like this a lot. I can just sit and eat this all day. It's a great high protein snack, very healthy, and like I said, it's harvested from our own property. I'll leave a link in the description box if I can find one that's close to the same jerky gun that we use, and I may see if I can find some links to that jerky seasoning if you guys don't have an outdoor store close by that you can buy it at. You can get it online, I'm sure. But I think I'll get Houston out here, let him do a taste test and tell me what he thinks about these, since it was his buck. All right, Deer Slayer. Got 2 kinds of jerky for you to try. One was made out of the ground hamburger meat, and one was just traditional jerky strip.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. Which one?
Why don't you try this one first?
Okay.
Let me know what you think.
I like this. This is a big difference.
Well, it's 2 different kinds of jerky.
Yeah. That was really good. It's really good. It's not too meaty. If you don't know what I mean by meaty, it means, I don't know how to explain it.
It better be meaty. It's straight meat. There's nothing there but meat.
No, I know. I'm saying it's not like just complete, strong, pure meat. Completely.
Okay. Interesting analysis.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
It tastes good, huh?
Now, let's just put it that way.
Okay, I'll take that.
Now the actual jerky.
That's the good stuff, huh?
Yeah. Just cracked off.
That one actually broke in half. Some of them are a little more chewy.
Yeah. It is really good, but I feel like it has less flavor than the beef one.
It's not beef.
That one?
It's not beef.
Or hamburger meat, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, which one do you prefer?
Both.
Both. I'll take it. Good enough for me. Yeah. All right, here. Why don't you wrap this video up, since I've been out here making jerky for you for 2 days.
From the deer that I killed for you to make.
That's what I said. Matter of fact, I think I told them that like 3 times.
So guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, we'll see you on the next video. Peace.
You just killed Lampy Gimpy.